Hello YouTube and welcome back to Alex's Cosplay Shop. Today we will be making Spring Bonnie. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing you'll need to make a Spring Bonnie suit is wire. I use this 12 gauge stuff since it's flexible and it can wrap around the head pretty easy. So you're gonna need, wait a second here, got laid out. So you're gonna need about a lot. And then you're gonna wrap it around your head, kind of like, no, not that much. You're gonna wrap it around your head about this far. And starting off with that, you get a rough head shape. Can you see the wire there? Okay. So you're gonna wanna get that to where you can confidently put it around your head and not feel, I'm not gonna say claustrophobic, but you don't want it to feel like a crown of thorns or something. You're going to want it to feel like a nice light thing around your head. Now, still being connected to the extra wire here, you're going to go ahead and try this on once again. If it's a little loose, that's perfect. Now, what you're going to do is something that you're not supposed to do. I mean, if you have wire cutters or something, that would be smarter. But today, I'm going to be using scissors. Cut's about the same. So you've got the wire. So you're going to make sure that still fits your head. And I put it on backwards. Okay, you're going to make sure that still fits your head there. And make sure you keep this part on the front. Now, you're going to lay that down there to the side. Now make sure you have the kind of hot glue sticks that can hold foam and fabric and all this, because those steps will come along later. Now, whenever I made my old cardboard Spring Bonnie, I used the same wire technique, but I used what are these things called? Oh yeah, I used pipe cleaners. I think that's what they're called, and that worked well for the project I was working on. But you know, it's kind of, well, cardboard. And we want something to look more like the books, the movie. I mean, not the movie, because that has char marks. You know, where it's been burned or something. But we're just going to make, you know, authentic Spring Bonnie before any of the spring lock failures or anything. I think one of my first videos was Spring Trap, so you already know what he would look like. Not like I'm going to be doing a video on that in a couple months or something. But without further ado, let's get another piece. So we've already got this. So the next piece you're going to need would probably be, let's see here, cardboard. Let's go with that. So I'm following steps I used last time when I made a costume. So I'm going to go grab my cardboard. Now, once you have your crisp, bendable cardboard, you're going to look at your wire. Now, whenever you do this, it varies on head shape. But what you're going to want to do here is get your scissors, your handy-dandy scissors, I must say. And you're going to, let's see here. So whenever you make a cosplay, well, something like this, you want to have this outwards, because this is going to connect to something later on. So, let's see here. You need something on each side to connect to the jaw piece. That way you can make it to where it can move. If you're not going to make it to where it can move, you're still going to need cardboard, just not as much. So you're going to want the same amount of cardboard on both sides, naturally. So if you get a piece like this, that's mostly the same as a piece of a cut up board of cardboard that I got for a science project board. But if you cut up a science project board, you get a lot of pieces. So it's perfect for a lot of cosplays. Now, depicting that we want it above the head, well, not above the head, but a little bit above, you're going to start out with, what about there? And you're going to, let's see here. I might want to put the camera down onto the workspace here. So you're going to want to cut, starting about right here on the cardboard, depending on how your head shape is. And you're going to want to cut till you get to the other end. Now I wouldn't suggest switching sides like I just did there, because it's a little, I wouldn't say hard to copy on each side, but it's just a little bit, it's a little bit hard, I'll say that. So make sure you've got a consistent cut on both sides there, and then you're going to test this out here. So you're going to put that on your head just like you did before, or just like I did before, and you're going to make sure that's lined up here. If that's lined up there and your thing still matches there, then you're doing great. If you're wondering why I keep on looking in this direction, then that is because I have a screen to see what I'm doing. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the cardboard piece you just cut. You gotta put it side by side next to the same cardboard piece. You're gonna make it about even here, and you're going to do what I'm doing. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna do exactly what I'm doing. As you probably know, this is the first time I'm making a video where I tell you how I make my cosplays. So, if this is not the way you've seen other people do it, I'm truly sorry. This is the way I do things. Now, depicting that I know knife safety, and I use knife safety, I don't think YouTube should ban me for this, but if they do, and you don't get to see this video, at least I said something. So, if these two pieces of cardboard match, then you're doing great. If they don't match, you're going to have to trim it to the size, which mine match mostly. So I'd say we're doing good. Next step is getting the wire here. I know, pulling up the wire once again. A little strange, right? So, once you have your wire here, you're going to form it in the shape of what you think a jaw would look like. For Spring Bonnie, it's more like a round jaw, so I'd say a shape kind of like that should work. Now, once you have this, straighten the wire back out, because you'll need that later. Yeah, I know, I'm doing these steps incredibly wrong, and I realize that. Next, you're going to probably plug up your hot glue gun if you have one. Now, I would have gave you a list of what you need, but I feel like you should go along the video and find out, then come back and watch it again. If you're wondering why I'm leaned over like this, it's because my setup of power is kind of propped on an angle, and you have to be really close to get it. Ah, there we are. Now, once you have your hot glue gun prepped and ready to go, you're going to make sure you don't have a stick that will not melt, a stick that will not bind it together. Now, at the moment, I do not know how I'm going to remove this one, but since this is the wrong type of glue stick, I'm going to use it anyway, because it can still bind stuff like this together. This is for the foam, and only for the foam. I just forgot that. Now, taking this back up to your head, you're going to look at these things. They're going to go on the inside, but right now they're on the outside. Now you're going to make sure these are semi together. You know, lining up on the... Basically, if you can sit this down and it won't fall over once you have it hot glued, and it won't be like... If if you want it balanced, you don't want it going whichever way I just did that. But so I'd say you want brown on the outside, because brown is the closest thing to yellow when it comes to cardboard, not white. Now, to find the ear things on here, you're gonna right there and right there, I'd say, is where the ears would be. So you don't want this costume to be like a hat right above your ears, well, right, almost touching your ears. You don't want that, because it's gonna need to balance on quite a lot. So once you've got this right here, you're pretty good. Now, you start right here with this inner cardboard. You're gonna go right about, well, let me put the camera down again. I'm gonna go right about here with it. Now, I apologize if I'm not doing this right, and you can exit out of this video at any time. If you would consider subscribing, I'd be extremely thankful for that. Now, I cannot reach the plug-in for that, so I'll just have to unplug it here really soon. So normally, I would go ahead and try that on to see if it's matching. So let's lay it down in a slightly weird position. And we're going to try this on. So that matches up with where your ear's at. Great job! You've done the first step. Now, depicting that I put this on incorrectly, then that would mean you've done better than I will. So, yet again, I'll say it. Great job! So anyway, you're going to want this to where it's almost matching where your real jaw is. Now, once you get it to look like that, you're doing good. So let's find out if I did this correctly this time. Yes, I did. There is a string coming from the hot glue gun. Great. Okay. Now, we're going to try to match this on the other side here. Now, the fact that I am not using measurements to do this, which you can if you'd like. I'm not stopping you. Let's see. You want the smaller part on the inside, naturally on the inside because that's where everything is. You'd want it on the bottom. So if we're doing that, then that right there, right there. As long as they're on the same surface, we'll go with that. So this might block you a little, but you can see that hot glue on the other side, and hopefully understand what I'm doing on this side. Now, if you don't, I am truly sorry, but I do not have the camera equipment to be doing this at 2 angles. Thank you for your patience, though. So we're going to grab another hot glue stick since we're out right here. And if your hot glue gun is really powerful, like mine is, right now would be a great time to unplug it and run off of the extra heat here. Let me just sit that down to where it definitely won't fall. Ow, it fell. Just as I expected. Okay. So now, reinserting the glue stick that we couldn't get in before because we had to unplug the thing. Okay, great. Now, if you've watched my YouTube channel, you'd know that I do not put these kind of videos on here where I make something and I show you how to do it. That's not because I dislike you guys or anything. It's just because I am way too lazy to film and edit. Sorry to say it, but lazy is a strong word. I'm not as productive to do that. So I think, yeah, pretty sure we're good right there. So if you've got your things here on the sides to where they're matching in height and they don't look like someone just threw it together in a couple seconds, which, you know, normally they do look like you threw it together in a couple seconds. I don't blame you if they do, because normally that's what they look like in the first few stages of building. Now, once you think this hot glue is dried enough, wait a little longer, because it's not. Next step I'm going to advise you to do here is grab your wire once again. Now, once you have your wire, you're going to do patterns like this across. Now, I'd say to do that right whenever this part dries, so we're going to wait a second. While we do that, eventually, in a couple weeks or so, I already made my Glamrock Freddy. So I'll be showcasing that on this channel here in a couple months or so, like I said. So now this is dry. We're going to try this on once again. Let's just see here. So it's going to look like some sort of medieval head guard or something. Once it looks like that, pat yourself on the back, because you are doing a great job. If you're doing this, or if you're just watching for fun, I don't advise you to do it the way I am. Simple as that. But you can try your best to copy me, and you might get a great project out of it. This will probably be about a 2-part series, and you'll probably have to skip a lot, just like this episode of Spring Bonnie. So, what am I thinking? Okay, so put this back on here. Yeah. Then you're gonna go across here. Once you have something like that, stop, pull that off, and simply wrap this part around here. If you can see me doing that, then great job. Now, if your project starts to warp a little, then I don't know what to tell you, because mine's warping a little here, and it's going to be a little bit of a problem if you don't get that fixed. But yeah, I got to fix it. So you're going to cut it off about right here. Like I said, I do not suggest using scissors to cut wire. Not because it's dangerous, only because it damages your scissors. Or so I'm told. Now once you have your first wire here, you can decide if you want to continue going on with more wire or whatever. But once you have it to where you'd say you're secure with it, that's good enough. Depending on your head size, this is a lot different. My head's, I wouldn't say massive, but it's big enough to where it would probably be it'd be about as big as an animatronic. Now, if you were hoping for some sort of big 3D printing and stuff, go watch another YouTuber, because I don't use all that extra stuff here. Ah, I fell again. Okay. So once you can prop this up on its own, then that's good. So normally I would hot glue this, but depending on how much hot glue I've been using, we're going to try our best to not use hot glue, because I think that'd be funny. So since we've got these, there's no need for another arch right there at the moment, because that would be a little... Well, there is a need for an arch, never mind that. So we're gonna do 2 of them. You know, this is only for the ears, not for any structure. structural integrity. That's the word I was looking for. Now you're gonna cut your wire to where you think it looks good, not because you measured it, only because you think. And thinking is believing, or so you say, or so I say. I don't know the way that line goes. I just say things and hope I don't get banned from YouTube. So you're gonna want this to run a little deeper into your head here, because this is going to hold up the very big ears of Spring Bonnie. So by now my hot glue gun has ran out of juice or heat. So I'm going to set that there with a little bit of hot glue job I got there, and we're going to prop that up and get it working. I'll let you see the little thing here. If it starts moving and wiggling, that's not a good sign for me. Now, if you don't have the material and stuff to make this, and you're just watching this because you're bored, you like smaller YouTubers, and you like content that seems idiotic and kind of weird, then Alex's Cosplay Shop, this channel, is the perfect thing for you. Because I do not do all the extra, 3D printing and all this stuff. Because I like cheap costumes, not really expensive and stuff. So if you like that too, you're a great person to be subscribed to my channel. Well, I'm going to stop promoting my YouTube channel and move on to the next side. You can see how I put that on there, and if I can go ahead and see how this is moving on that side. So filming this, I was planning on doing it like a live stream, but I thought that might be a little pending on you guys' patience. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do it on the normal video, that way you can skip stuff. I mean, I'm not some sort of mean person to make you watch for stuff, unless you just want to for some reason. Which I congratulate you if you do watch for this whole thing. It'll probably be my first long video, now that I think about it. So, if anything, buckle up for a long video. Probably more than just a video. 2 parts or something like that. Now once you've got a frame here, you're gonna have to hold it down, because these things just love to move during the cooling process. So just hold that there for a little bit as we pull the remaining wire back up and attach it to the hot glue that hasn't dried yet. Now I know, as I've already said, you cannot see what I am doing, but whenever I turned around you can always see the exact look of it all. I'm going to spin this around for you so you can see what it looks like. That's about what you're going to do. Now I know that looks a little messy, but it's not the mess that counts, it's the end result that counts, right? Like I said, I don't know how that line goes. So, putting that to the side for a second, you're going to grab this wire again. And just like you did with the other one, not measuring at all, like I do, which is not good to do. Measuring twice, cutting once is a very good... I don't think that's the way that line goes. Never mind. Putting this back on the table here. Putting the camera down. And starting at the thing right again. Now, I'm going to do that. Okay. Getting your hot glue gun ready here. It's probably feeling hotter again. So you're going to unplug that. And take the piece you cut here and start lining it up with the frame again. Like I said, this is for the ears and the ears alone. Now you're going to line that up in a certain way, kind of like that. Since we might be putting springs in the ears eventually. Springs are a very nice thing to put in costumes. It makes it bounce, and it makes it kind of hop a little bit like a rabbit. And Spring Bonnie is a rabbit, so kind of be funny if we did that. So who knows, we might. So I know you can see what I cannot, like the wire jumping around and stuff. And if that hits the camera and knocks it into the floor, I am sorry. Because the ceiling is not as instructional about cosplay as I am. And I'll have to pick up the camera. Because the roof and the ceiling fan are a very, very nice thing to look at. Almost nicer to look at than the actual cosplay I'm building. Because this thing gets messy under the shell of the foam. So once you've got that mostly on there, you gotta let that dry for a second. So I'm gonna wait a second to turn this around. Okay, so but now it is done drying. So you're going to tip this right there, kind of take your finger with the semi-dried glue and make sure that is folded over, just like the other one. Now you can see that. I know it's on a turntable, but I just like turning it around the natural way, some would say. So, keeping this a little bit above the initial structure that keeps your head on, it keeps your head up in the air here. It keeps the head, not your head. Ah, hot glue gun finally got cold. Okay. Ah, there it goes. That thing never likes me. Okay. So it's not going to get hot immediately, but it's, like I said, it's still got a little bit of juice left in it. Probably breaking down on me, the thing is. So if the video stops abruptly because I have to get a new hot glue gun, I'm sorry. I probably won't though. I mean, it's once it gets warm again, it kind of glides like butter. So I wouldn't say there's a problem. Or if there is, as Afton would say, I always come back to finish the wonderful cosplay of Spring Bonnie. So now we're going to attach these two to the top of this right here. So if this drips down a little bit, just make sure you have like a paper towel or something on hand. So you're gonna have to keep pushing that up a little bit. Excuse me. You're gonna keep on having to push that up a little bit here, and that'll keep it gluing on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach this on the bottom here, like I should have when I first started it. Okay. Now if that starts to drip, like I said, just have something under it. Like this other piece of cardboard I was going to use in another cosplay. Now, once you've got that there, and you've got that continuing to dry, now you're going to finish up what you were doing on this other side here. Like I said, I'm not showing you what I'm doing at the moment, because it's a little messy, but you can get to see it when I turn it around for the next part. We always start on the clean side and end on the messy side. I have them divided into sides. I don't know why. I just do it. It's fun. Or something like that. There we go. That little twisty thing will do something later. I don't know. Another hot glue stick. There we are. Oh, the wonders of hot glue. Wonderful, wonderful hot glue. Binds things together in a flash of a second. Like I said earlier, I feel like maybe 3D printing would be your best option instead of doing it the old-fashioned way like I do it. Ah, and there it goes again. Instead of doing it the old-fashioned way like I do it. But if you like doing costumes this way, then you're just like me. Original. Now, once you've got this part done, I'll spin it around just to show you what a mess I made there. But that is what you're not supposed to do. And as you can see, I did it just the way I'm not supposed to. So, do it the way this side has on both sides, because that's cleaner. Like I said, there's the difference for you. Now, I don't know if comments will work on this video or not, but if you can comment, then comment what you think between these two. Which one's better? Which side? So the messy or the clean? So making sure that is perfectly sealed. Perfect. Now I'll drip down a little bit, so I'm not worried. It'll just further seal it. Like I said, I can see using the camera here. That is why I'm staring in that direction instead of this direction, which is where you're at. And that's why I keep on looking that way. Just like I said, I'm going to get a drink of water while this dries. Okay. So, moving on. Now, here is the wonderful part where we get out the jaw. Now, I think for the sake of your time, my time, and whatever you're doing today, I'm going to go ahead and end the video after I get everything like the endoskeleton, the inside. Then next time we'll do the outside. Then we'll do the fabricing on the next video. How does that sound? Because we're at 33 minutes. And it'll probably go to 50 before I'm done with this jaw. Unless you've skipped, which is nice, because I am not going to be editing this video. Okay, let me grab the springs, because if we're making the jaw, I have to have the springs. Okay, springs acquired. So now, our glue reserves are running pretty thin. We're going to put those to the side. And while we're at it, we're going to make sure this glue gun is unplugged. So, now that we've got this, starting on the jaw, of course. Where'd I put the jaw again? Oh, I never made it. Here we are. So using your remaining wire, you're going to... Yeah, that thing was making a little bit of smell. I had to blow it off. Sorry, I'm so used to looking at the computer for filming. I keep on forgetting I got the new camera working. Okay. Put that in. Okay, now I can hear myself again. So we're going to take the wire, of course, and gonna make 2 holes. So, getting out your box cutter, you're going to put this to the side again, of course. And you're gonna take a look at this. So, making sure this is lined up properly, because we do not want an oopsie. We're going to make a little hole right there. We're gonna make an X. I bet you're wondering, since I haven't explained why I'm not showing you why I'm working. I probably have said something, but I forgot. The reason I'm not showing you is because I want to be shown with knives and stuff on my, I mean, I'm not saying I'm using the knives incorrectly or something. I just like to be careful. I don't want my YouTube channel to be taken down or something. Why then? Guy can never be too cautious. So, well, I mean, someone could be too cautious. Some people aren't cautious enough. Never mind that, though. Right there. Here we are. Okay, now you've got these 2 holes, one right there and one right there. Well, there if you can see it. You're going to place that back on your turntable if you're making a YouTube video like I am. And you're going to go ahead and open your box of springs. Now the reason you're going to go ahead and open the box of springs is because we need to find out what kind of jaw we're making. Like, are we making a jaw that could be, flexible? And we want a jaw that's pretty tight. Because, if we were making threadbare, we'd want it extremely tight. Because, you want to open the jaw and then close it down with extreme force. The bite of 83 or something. Okay, going back to seriousness and not at all Markiplier references, we're going to go ahead and put those to the side. Now, for the jaw, like I was saying, you're going to, where'd that wire go? You wouldn't know, because you cannot see where my floor is. So there we are. Right now we're going to grab this and kind of bend it into the shape of like a jaw of some sorts. Once you've got the shape of a jaw of some sorts, you're going to go ahead and, I know every time I've said this I've kind of went away from it, but you're really going to be making a jaw. So however you want your springbonnie jaw to be, I want you to imagine that while you're making this, if you are making this, and I want you to use your wire and make it to your heart's content. Or whatever content you follow. I don't know. Anyway, you're going to make sure your jaw is semi-rounded out here to where it matches on both sides. And using these holes that we made, we're going to run those through there and do that for the time being. So once you've got that and this one here, I'm going to go ahead and push those in. And I made my jaw too big, you may say. I made my jaw too big, I'm going to say, because I did. Then that's a simple fix, my dear friend. You're going to go ahead and you're going to do the same thing. Just pushing it in a little further. And then wrapping your wire around your main thing. Now I bet you're wondering, what's going to make this go up and down? I mean, you know, naturally your mouth, but what's going to make it come back up? That's what I meant to say. And that, my dear friend, is something that we were created with, and that is your mouth. That's going to make it go up and down. Well, up. The down motion will be coming... Well, no. No, your mouth will be making it go down. The upwards motion will be coming from one of man's very fine achievements, the spring. I think it's called what are these things called? Extension springs? I think that's what they're called. Well, anyway, these springs can make a lot of impact on your costume. My old Freddy costume, the first Freddy I ever made, I used rubber bands. Naturally, because that's what I had. Anyway, those rubber bands eventually got tired and broke. So whenever I put the springs in, it broke the whole head. But it's a great display item now. The lights still work, so not too sad about that. I feel like I made that too long. So if you made that too long, if you've already done the step where you coil this up, like I have, I'm sorry, because you gotta do that again. So you're gonna, just like before, move that in, round out the jaw a little bit more. You probably don't even have to do it on the other side now that I think about it. And you're just gonna coil that up once again. Don't even make sure, I mean, you could. Double checking is a great thing to do whenever you're working on one of these things. Getting nervous is not a good thing to do, because getting nervous can make you fail. And you don't want to fail, do you? You want to be strong. You want to continue on, and you want to do your best. What do I know? Anyway, once you've got a jaw that can move to an extent and not break itself, this is now looking like Freddy's jaw. I don't know why, it just does. You're going to kind of continue to round that out if you didn't get it perfect the first time. And then, now that you've got that, you're pretty much almost done here. So putting this on, of course I have these to make sure I can hear myself. I have to take them off for the thing, so if I'm not hearing myself perfectly, I mean, I can hear myself because I know what I'm saying, but you get it. Now I'm a little louder because I can hear myself without the microphone. But you couldn't hear me if I didn't have the microphone. So, anyway, making sure everything's in order. Like we were on the jaw here. So, once you've got your jaw for Spring Bonnie, you're going to put this on. Let me make sure you can see me. And basically you're going to make sure you've got about two and a half fingers, well, about 2 1/4 of your finger to do this. And then whenever you put the fabric on, you're going to put a thing like this, and then your jaw, and whenever you open your mouth, it's going to go like that, opening and closing. So, and your foam will make this tighter too, naturally. So, you may ask, once we get the spring on, won't this thing just jerk right back up because there's nothing stopping it? Well, because I'm experienced with cosplaying nowadays, I've got something I like to call the test of time to help me with that. And anyway, you're going to grab 2 little paper clips. Never mind, you're going to need 4 paper clips. Now you may ask, what do you need to do with these paper clips? And that would be what I'm doing in a couple seconds. So what you're going to do is, at the top of this jaw here, you're going to put this right here. And this will allow you to connect your spring later, once you've got that on there. You're going to repeat this step exactly as I did it here once again, by doing this, wrapping it around, and coming back like there, and letting that dangle a little bit there. So once you've got that, you're going to put your jaw down a little bit, and that's where you're going to put in a piece of wire again. Now, cutting another little hole with your ox cutter, you're going to cut this hole about right above, you're going to cut it about 1.5 inches above the one you made previously. And once you've got that little hole there, you're going to simply put it, you're going to go ahead and put another one of these paper clips. I am off the schedule I was going for. When I say schedule, I mean off what I was doing earlier. So, and you're going to use a paper clip for this right here, what I'm doing now, not what I was talking about earlier, but this. And you're going to bend it out of shape into what some kids do whenever they do, you know, whenever they mess around with paper clips, like we all would do when we were younger, if you had paper clips, or at least it's what I did. What I still do. Anyway, once you've got that hole there, if you have to make another one, you can. I'm not stopping you with whatever you want to do there. But you're gonna put one in here, in that hole, and put another one in on this hole right here, if you have 2 holes. If you're cool and you didn't have to put 2 holes, good for you. Some of us just aren't that way, buddy. So we're going to do that. And then once you've got your spring attached to there, I don't think I even mentioned that step. Well, right now you're going to put your spring on this little paper clip that's attached with these 2 holes. I hope you caught what I was saying there. Anyway, you're gonna do that and tie these any way you would tie a paper clip. I don't know if paper clips are supposed to be tied. They probably aren't, but mine is. So. Okay. And this is gonna get pretty tight here. And I just realized I used the wrong thing. This is where some people would say, something. That's where someone would say something. That's what I'm going to say there. Someone would say, I messed up. I need to do it again. Do over. Whatever word you use. We're not messing up the whole thing too badly. You're going to go ahead and you're going to get a different type of spring from your conveniently out of the way box. Now, picking that box up and ramming the side of your rib accidentally with your chair. If you're in a chair and having to lean over to grab something, you're going to grab one of these big boys here. I don't know if that's what these things are supposed to be called. I call them big boys because they're kind of thick. I think that should do, no, No, don't grab the big boys. Okay, we're using a different type today. We're gonna grab two of the bigger big boys. Yeah, the bigger big boys. Now the big boys, they should do it pretty well. The big boy springs. I don't know what you call them. I'm just calling them whatever they look like. Does that make sense to you? I don't know. It makes sense to me. And whatever makes sense to the YouTuber should make sense for the viewers. It's not the rule, but that's what I'm going with. I probably messed this up once again, but to be honest with you, everyone makes mistakes. We're only human, as some would say. Not strong enough. And now realizing that whatever we did was not what we were supposed to do here on this paper clip that we put on the jaw, we're going to go ahead and fix our oopsie. That's what we're doing, fixing the oopsie. Gotcha now. Okay. So if you can see what I'm doing, if you can't, I'm sorry, I'll describe it for you. So what I'm doing is I'm using the paper clip to put around the spring. And what we're going to do is connect it the same way we had it previously before I disconnected it. Now don't follow these steps exactly if you have already followed these steps and are following them again, because I'm not doing this correctly. I am sorry. Truthfully, I am sorry. But, yeah, did I mention this gets a little harder whenever you realize that you didn't do it right once again? Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. It always happens. It's where you do something wrong continuously and you have to redo it. Then your cardboard starts warping. Yeah, that ever happened to you guys? Of course it has. Human error. Things like the real springbonnie don't have human error, or so the robots say. I don't know. It's a bad thing to say as a cosplayer. I don't know. That's like saying you just dove in without knowing what you were doing. Want to know a hint? That's what I'm doing. Going in without knowing what I'm doing. I've made a costume like this before. With the same parts. With the same attitude going in on it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. That's a stupid attitude to have, but it's the attitude I use when I do new cosplays. Whatever you do, don't follow my role model. Or whatever you want to call it. Don't follow the way I do things. Be creative. Be yourself. Do whatever you think would be correct when it comes to cosplaying. When it comes to life, just listen to what the people older than you would advise you to do. That's wisdom right there. Wisdom coming from someone that just stated that they don't know a lot about wisdom. Life full of wisdom. Well, excuse me, I'd say that looked like a problem if I didn't know what I was doing, but it is not a problem since I know exactly what I'm doing. Now, if this doesn't look right to you, good job, because it doesn't look right to me either, but we're going with it. If you can't see what I'm doing here, I'm stuffing a wire through here. The exact wrong way to do this. Like I said, I'm just doing this to get a few views. I don't really know if this is going to gain any views or not. I'm just doing this for fun, really. Fun times, just for the adventure, the fun of it all. Yeah, and I've done this wrong again. And some people have those cool little screens that'll make a little error picture every time they do something wrong and then they redo it. I just show you my errors, because I feel like that teaches you the best about what you're doing. Human error is a very common thing. It's what drove a lot of people mad. But if you've got determination on your side, like Frisk from Undertale, then you've got a lot backing you into a wall, that is. I'm kidding. Anyway, my humor is just not as good as it used to be. My jokes aren't as good as they used to be. I used to be able to make a joke and someone would actually laugh. Now they look at me and they laugh. I'm kidding. Kidding is fun when you know what to kid about. If the comments are working, like I've said a million times before, comment what I should make next. You cannot see what I'm doing, can you? Sorry about that. There we are. One side to pull out here and put this on it. Now once we've got that on it, I'm going to go ahead and redirect that right back into the hole there. And yeah, there we are. Now, I've already warped the cardboard here, as I've said previously, so this costume might not turn out right. If you're doing it the right way, I congratulate you more than you could ever know. You're doing what a semi-professional cannot do, which is success. That's what a semi-professional cannot do. That is find success in their work. And I'm not saying I'm a failure, I'm just saying I'm doing my best and hoping. Ah, see? Your jaw's starting to move. See, I told you I wasn't failing. Or did I tell you? I'm not sure what I said. I said something. And whatever I said, I probably meant it and I probably didn't at the same time. Because I am not thinking about... I'm thinking about what I'm saying, I'm just not thinking a lot about what I'm saying. You know. I'm not going to go crazy or something and start blabbing out a backwards message because of glitch trap or something. Like some people do whenever they make cosplays, just because they think it's funny. Which I think it's funny too. Or something like that. I'm not sure. People do things and I look at that and I think, yeah, that'd be a good idea for a cosplay video. Like the person that made the Spring Bonnie costume that I like the most. I think Deregular Sauce made that, or someone. I don't know how you say that. I think it's Deregular Sauce or something. I don't know. He made a wonderful version of William Afton in the Spring Bonnie suit. And I think it looked amazing, even though he's made several costumes before, and they all usually look great. I mean, he's as a cosplayer what I've always wanted to be. He's like a cosplay master, you might say. Costume master, or something along those lines. But he's ridiculously good at making stuff like that. I don't know what hardships he has on the way, but it's probably as much as I do. And I have a lot of hardships whenever I'm making these cosplays for you guys to enjoy. I think I've got the jaw working okay, I guess. So I'm going to put this on and see if it's even wearable. And if you haven't seen what I've been doing, I'm sorry. Ow, that's a bit concerning. Okay, that can go. Yeah, I don't think that'll prick me. You know. Yeah, and then. Great. That is just great. Yeah, it's starting to move, so. As I believe it's finished for the time being. You know, the inside of it is finished. So, that's working. It's actually working. And it's not like I wasn't expecting it to work or something. I mean, it's actually working. Well, that's not supposed to do that. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, that's perfect. Okay. So, depicting on how many likes I get on this, I'll consider making Fredbear whenever I get this one done on my next. I think this is going to be a 4-part series because we're going to do the jaw next, like the fabricing of the jaw. Then the next time we come back, we're going to do the main kind of head. Then the fabric last. Of course, the ears. So about 5 parts, I must say. So, without further ado, this is Alex on Alex's Cosplay Shop, signing off with the first part done of Spring Bonnie. Sorry this took so long. See ya. Oh, and one more thing. I always come back.